fun, enlightened conversation with awesome human in Bali. Have Arika with us.
Good morning.
Who is a sexuality coach. Or do you say teacher or guide? Or
I say coach or facilitator.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Putting your title here. Coach. And then I pronounce your name correctly, Arika, but just, am I saying that right?
It's okay. Aurika, originally, or Aurika.
Awesome.
Does it help? Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right, let's do it. Awesome. Thank you for letting me get the technology together.
Of course. You're really good.
I could tell you were so peaceful. I didn't want to interrupt your meditation.
I can meditate anytime. I'm also meditating right now as I speak to you.
I am the same way. We will talk about that.
No, there's yoni, there's breath meditations that I can do as I speak to people.
without having to physically touch yourself. You said breath
like
meditation.
Body awareness.
You can do breath meditation without physically touching.
I can, yes, it works.
I'm excited to talk to you. I have lots of things bouncing through my head. I always caution to not talk about anything that I would want recorded before I start the recording. So.
Okay. I can tell you about energetic breath massage later.
I've learned this lesson. I'll start having so much fun with the guests, and then I'm like, oh wait, we're not recording any of this yet. It's another reason why I've never have preliminary conversations with you guys, because I just it would just have too much fun talking to each other. But it's a conversation that I would want to have with you anyway. So
yeah.
All right, let's do it. Live on Instagram as well. I'm going to tag you on Instagram really quick.
Can I make it live on Instagram as well somehow? How does it work?
Are you on your phone right now?
Yeah.
You won't be able to do both at the same time?
No. Okay.
That would be a feature that I would really love for them to put, where you could use Zoom and Instagram at the same time.
Be ideal. I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah. Technology always evolving. Okay, we're good. We're recording. As soon as the red light comes on in the top left, we are going. Recording.
Hey.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to introduce you guys to an awesome guest, as my tripod just fell over, so we were going to adjust that. There it is. It was perfect now. Got it. Not going to move that. Introduce you guys to an awesome guest today. We have Arika Valen, who is in Bali right now in just a beautiful setting. Birds are chirping behind her. The sun is out. It is Saturday morning where she is, bright and early, and super excited to talk to her. Arika is a sexuality coach and just awesome human. I love her energy. We were already vibing before we started this conversation. She was in an awesome meditation as I joined her here on Zoom, and we're just gonna have a fun conversation today. And I discovered her on Instagram not too long ago, and I'm just excited to vibe with her and share some love and light with all of you guys out there wherever you are on the planet. So, without further ado from me, I want to introduce you guys to Arika, and if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Okay, well, good morning from Bali. It's 9 a.m. here, and I'm really, really excited to have this opportunity to speak about my passion with all of you beautiful beings. So I work with sexuality. I mean, work is not really the right place. Like, I play, I have fun, I share, and all of that. So I work mostly with women, and my mission is to support women to awaken their sexuality intentionally, to love themselves unapologetically, and to simply own their unique feminine power. And I support women mostly one-on-one because it's a really profound journey that transforms the depth of who you are. And I also love facilitating journeys offline well, in the all good times where we could meet offline. Yeah.
Soon again, we'll return to those times soon. And I love what you just said, because this is my favorite part of life as well. Well, you didn't call it your favorite part of life, but I know it's one of your favorite parts of life, the way you just described that. I will definitely call human connection and human sexuality and just the connections that we make as we go on this journey of life. This is by far my favorite parts. It always has been, and I like what you said. Like, it doesn't ever feel like any type of work, especially having fun conversations with awesome humans. But then when I get to talk about really my favorite subject, definitely is just fun and just play for me. So it's going to be a fun conversation. I'm always curious from people because you obviously have had some light bulbs come on with you when it comes to just knowing who you truly are, energetically. And like I mentioned, Aurika was like in the middle of like a meditation when I joined her here on Zoom, and she quickly told me that she could meditate anywhere, anytime, which I totally relate to. I wasn't always that way, but just curious with your journey. For you as a kid, I know we all come as little unconditional, loving little babies, and we're just like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and for a lot of us, we forget over the years who we truly are. How did your light bulb come on, or did it just stay on from the time that you were a little baby until now?
No, not at all. I think by the age of 7, I had totally forgotten who I am, what's my truth, what's my authenticity. And then, of course, I had a pretty conventional upbringing where there was no sex talk, no menstruation talk, and we're just somehow supposed to know how things work out. When I would come together, maybe with my partner, we just kind of expect things to work out naturally, because sexuality is meant to be natural, right? So for many, many years, I did not even question that there's something to look into this, until I had a very conventional life. I used to work for corporations and advertising, and I had insomnia. I was going to look for love in all the workplaces, like Tinder dates or binge eating or other things that maybe are not so legal and so on. And then I had to really go downward spiral to realize like this is not working. And for many, many years, I had this like deep impulse for freedom. Like I would go and hitchhike, I would go to like rainbow hippie gatherings where I would dance naked by the fire, and then I would come back to my corporate job the next week. So I had this like very double life. I had like a secret life where I think this is more like me, but I had no role models around me to tell me that it's okay to want to be free. It's okay to want to be wild and scream and be sexual and be naked and all of that. There was no space for that. So I kind of really, really compromised my bigness, because also where I come from, in Lithuania, women are supposed to be just nice, quiet decorations by the table, who don't speak up, who don't speak too loud, who are not too opinionated, So I thought that this is about it. Until like I really, really went down, and I had quite bad insomnia for 2.5 years, and I felt like this is finished. I just can't do this anymore. So I just basically gathered all of my courage and left Europe, and I went to Bali. I didn't have much savings. I had like 1,000 euros in my bank account, and there things didn't start shift straight away. It was really interesting. I was living in paradise, but I felt the same, because I came with the same interior worlds, same all limiting beliefs, same ways to numb my emotions, same ways to look for quick happiness in like bad dates or alcohol and so on. Like it was the same, even though outside it was magnificent. Until I discovered there is some very powerful energy between my legs, literally. I thought, okay, can I try something else? I'm gonna go celibate for a month. That means no masturbation, because I used to masturbate myself to sleep every night. 1 minute, finished, And so I thought, 1 month, nothing, and see what happens. And basically, I was going quite crazy. I realized this energy is so potent, was getting really accumulated in my pelvic floor, and felt so unpleasant. Like it was like really annoying. Until someone told me, like 1 month later, that actually I can move this energy. There's certain practices I can do to move it in and up through breath work. So I did for a few days, and I was feeling ecstatic. it was incredible. I didn't really feel the energy moving, but just with the power of intention and my power of attention, I was like, whew, it started moving and things started expanding. And of course, it didn't happen in 3 days, but like a whole Pandora box opened up. Like my emotions started to come to the surface. I was not so afraid of my maybe anger, sadness, grief, and jealousy. So I was just starting to experience life its fullness. And this is where sexuality came into the field.
Super.
Yeah, so that's a little backstory.
Super interesting. I love how you just illustrated your story just now, Arka. And if I'm mispronouncing your name, just bear with me.
That's okay.
I think you said it much more elegantly than I'm saying it. But you said something right at the very beginning of that is so important that I want to highlight for the audience. You mentioned that you were looking for love in all the wrong places. And I want to highlight this because this is what that means to me. Whenever we are looking externally for our love or for our happiness or for our joy and trying to, go into the outside world and, when we have a good date or something, then, we're happy. Or if we, have a good week at work, then we're happy. If we have a bad date or a bad week at work, then, it's a roller coaster of life when we're always reaching for the external. And what a lot of us don't realize until we do is that if we can go within and, look for love there, which is who we truly are, look for that connection, then we can reflect that into the outside world in the form of, and you can find love, if that's what you're looking for or whatever you're looking for in infinite places. Like you can find love on Tinder if you want to. You mentioned Tinder, but if we're trying to manipulate the outside in order for us to feel good on the inside, it's a rough ride. This was my greatest weakness at one point in life, and I love how you illustrated that because once I became aware of that, it became really, really important to pay attention to, the only thing that we can really control is, what's my vibe, energy, frequency, mood that I'm bringing to life right here and now, the only moment that's really promised. And, everything that we're going to talk about in this episode or we'll ever talk about, it's all a practice, but it starts with awareness. And it's awesome, like how that led into your, you didn't mention if you finished that 1 month of celibacy.
I ended up relating to someone.
When you said that, I was like, that's only time I've gone 1 month of celibacy was before I started any type of sexual activity. So,
yeah, that's true.
But super powerful what you just illustrated, and so I'm curious then, like, because I think it's awesome. Like for some, we all have awarenesses throughout our lives, and when we are open to receiving them, in the various ways that they can come, whether it be through another person, or a book, or podcast, or videos, or whatever it is, like they can find us whenever we're ready for them. And I'm always curious, like how someone's journey goes from personal awareness to I want to share this with like other humans and like see them benefited because obviously you noticed how powerful it was in your own life and wanted to pay that forward. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So for a very long time, it was a personal journey, and I had to go through a lot of blockages and limiting beliefs that would say that I'm just not creative or I'm not worthy to do something on my own. Because where I come from, basically, my main understanding about my professional call was that I'm good enough to work for other people or tell what other people tell me, do what other people tell me. So it was quite a long journey. And I ended up working with a couple. Actually, I'm living with them right now. And they had been already doing workshops and events on intimacy, sexuality, self-love, and so on. So I was in the field already. But I was still working with them and for them, right? Until at some moment, I was actually receiving a massage by my partner at the time. And then this light bulb appeared in my head saying, I'm ready. Literally. But I was in a very deep theta state where there was no noise, no beliefs, no other information from the outside. There was this inner voice from within saying, I'm ready. I'm going to start with a little step. It's just simply creating a Facebook page for a woman where I'm just going to speak what I believe in. And that's it. And then the next month, I felt ready to start doing workshops offline, like doing women's circles and so on. And a few months later, I realized I've just simply outgrown my role to work for other people. I still had no clue how I'm gonna show up for my path fully, but I knew, like, I just so knew that I have to take the leap. Like, I just really gathered all of my will force, my courage, my self-confidence, and I just said to this couple, I love you so much, but I just can't do this anymore. Like, you deserve someone who's fully in it. And my attention was just fully going to how can I serve the world, like on a grander scale. And then it started. It didn't go straight into, okay, I'm just going to become one-on-one coach. No, I had to take time off, had to reflect deeply. I had to meet the right people on my right path who brought me certain messages, and I was just hyper aware, saying, okay, maybe I need to take this path. Maybe I need to go to this workshop, do this training, or maybe just simply do deeper meditation. And I'm just touching my breast right now because it was really about my heart. Like, how deeply can I listen to my heart, and how much courage can I have, to just let go of this very comfortable life I had. Yeah.
I love it.
And it was very comfortable. I actually had to leave everything and go to the Arctic because I needed to make money. I just spent 3 months in the Arctic doing a very random job to make enough money to afterwards invest into my coaching certification and just like have a comfortable life where I don't need to worry about money as I just follow my mission. Yeah.
Did you say you went from Bali to the Arctic?
Kind of. There was many places in between, but I spent 3 months literally in the Arctic. Yeah, in deep, deep snow in the polar night.
Super interesting. You've had a very interesting journey up to this point, Aurika. And no, it's awesome. I love how what you illustrated there, and like I always am encouraging everybody just to be open to the synchronicities of life. That life is just one synchronicity that we can't predict. It's never as planned. Things always happen that we're not expecting, and the more that we can embrace that, the more that we can enjoy the moments of the journey, which allow synchronicities that we actually enjoy to find us more versus the synchronicities that are super dramatic and tough and challenging, which those will find us too. It's part of the life experience. The amount of them, the amount of dramatic scenes in the movie versus the amount of like awesome scenes that we're excited about is totally up to us, depending on how we're vibrating and what frequency we're putting out into the world.
Absolutely, that's so true.
Yeah. So you've mentioned it just a few times, and you made me think of it again when you just were talking about meditation, and you said, I'm touching my... So Aurika was telling me that she can do yoni and breast massage without even touching herself, just by being aware of her energy. Don't start there, but I'm curious about your meditation. Well, you can start anywhere you want, but I'm curious about your meditation journey because it's so important, and I'm making it a point to start asking people specifically about that I know it's pretty much a part of everybody that I interview. I've noticed a part of their life experience, even though we haven't talked about that prior to. I don't think that's a coincidence, but what's your journey been like as far as meditation goes?
So meditation, it started initially with joining a mindfulness group when I was like 20 or something. And back then I was a student, and I thought this sounds so cool. I'm meditating. I still had no clue what I'm doing, but I just thought this sounds very cool. And then slowly people told me about Vipassana. So Vipassana was like a bigger introduction into my meditation practice. Then I did a couple of Vipassanas, and then I just simply started creating my own practice. At some point also became a yoga teacher. So meditation was a big practice of my yoga path. So I had to teach meditation in my classes, and also just simply practicing daily my meditation. And meditation, of course, it took many forms, and many could be more Vipassana style, could be just simply mindfulness, and just many techniques. Right now, I don't really actually have a very specific technique. For me, it's just simply creating a space of silence, and I have a very strong intention, which I work on usually for a long time. So it's kind of more manifesting work. Yeah. Okay. And right now, for me, meditation, sorry, just to finish,
go ahead.
It has moved from like a masculine structured experience. It's something more feminine, where I can also include movement, where I can also include my body into the practice. Yeah.
You may have just answered my question, but because I'm curious, like everybody explains differently. If you were to say why you meditate, because you mentioned part of it just now as a form of
Mm-hmm.
as a manifestation practice. But if
Mm-hmm.
somebody was to ask you, like, why do you meditate,
Yeah.
what would you say to that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a very important answer, and that's something very important to me. Is basically, throughout the day, we spend so much time receiving so much input, thoughts, and ideas and behaviors. They're not ours. It's just something that comes through our phone, notifications, conversations, ads, and all of that. It's just, it's so heavy. So my meditation practice is the time where I tune into the source, where I get this like truest, cleanest, purest information. Sometimes this information just simply void and nothingness. But this is the moment where I have no input in my field, and I can really receive the deepest feelings of connection to the divine, where I can also receive my deepest insights about what's truly moving my soul. And also, as I mentioned before, this is where I create my future through manifesting. Yeah.
That's beautifully illustrated what you just shared and how you just shared it. I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I totally relate. The reason that I meditate, and I actually do it on purpose as soon as I can, as the day is starting, because I know that all of us, when we wake up, we're going to think our first thought, second thought, third thought. Now, what those thoughts are going to be is totally it's totally up to us. A lot of us are doing it though not consciously, or we're just doing it like unconsciously, and we might go to our phone and be like, "Oh no, it's going to be a long day. I have all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff to do." And now, if we
Yeah.
were to measure the frequency that we're in, because in 2020 and beyond, like every moment of every day, like we're vibrating at a specific frequency that can actually be measured. I've been to events where this is like being measured,
Mm.
like individual frequency, mind, heart, the room. Like I've just been to events like this now, so it's pretty awesome where we are science-wise, technology-wise. But my point is, like, if we start the day and our vibration is one of like worry or anxiety because we have all this stuff going on, if we're not conscious of that, there's a really good chance that the day could pick up momentum and it could just be a really challenging day. And I'm sure all of us
Yep.
have been there at some point in life. So, like, the reason that I meditate is just what you just described so beautifully. If I can allow myself to connect with the divine, which I know that I'm connected when I'm in a frequency of peace or calm or anything that has more momentum than that. If I'm excited, if I'm happy, if I have a download pop into my mind, an awesome idea, an answer to life's question, a cool visualization where I'm excited about life or thinking about
Yeah.
manifesting anything, I know I'm connected. And so starting the day there, like I get up, use the bathroom, drink some water, and then right into meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So starting
Yeah.
in that frequency, it's just very noticeable if at any time during the day, because I'm human, so it doesn't like guarantee any of us that we stay in a frequency where we're connected all day. However, it's a noticeable difference when you allow yourself to become anxious or worried or frustrated or anything other than that connection.
Yeah.
It's a noticeable difference. So I love how you just described that, and
Mm-hmm.
like I'm the same way. I want to be connected as many moments of every day as possible, but knowing that the only one that really exists is right now. So my focus is hyper focused on that, and makes life so much easier when that's important to
Totally.
us.
Yeah. And there's one really important part here, because I think most of the people that we hang out with, they know that it's good to meditate or have a morning practice. But if there's this very key moment where you wake up and you feel like, the weather is bad, maybe not today. Or maybe I just need to check if this person replied me on the phone, and then you get bombarded with 1,000 notifications. And this is like a really, really subtle moment where you may actually surrender to resistance and don't sit on your yoga mat and don't do the practice. Right? Do you face resistance to do your morning practice? Or is always just natural?
So the only days I don't meditate is if I had so much fun the night before, typically with another human, that I'm carrying that bliss into the next day. And it's like I know I'm connected if I'm just waking up just like overjoyed with like happiness and bliss because I just had so much fun, a few hours ago. So those days, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I've already accomplished what I want. Like I'm connected. I'm just excited to start the day, and so I'll just flow from there. But for me, it's something that I enjoy because I like seeing like the thoughts that pop into my mind from that connected place. Like it's really fun to see, what comes in. Like a lot of times as far as like to-do list, quote unquote, when I don't have, besides the appointments that I already have scheduled, like the stuff that surrounds that, typically for me comes through meditation, because it's just like stuff that all of a sudden I'm inspired to do different things that are moving me towards, the things that I want to be and do and have, and just things that I'm creating for myself and for humanity. So yeah, meditation is before that, like life was totally different for me, and
Absolutely.
I actually use meditation to uncover some blind spots, and like a lot of people call it shadow work and these things, but things that were not in my conscious awareness that were negatively affecting my energy moment by moment, day by day, that I just wasn't seeing. I was able to uncover those also by just asking the question, going into meditation, like show me, and then I start paying attention in my everyday life and.
Show me, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So much fun. You're the first person that I've specifically made sure. Actually, that came in meditation too. Was as far as asking about the meditation practice, but then asking why you do it. Because people would say like just different, different specific things. So I think that's really important what you shared and how you shared it. I appreciate that.
I would just like to add one more point. Referring to what you've just shared, that some mornings, if you don't meditate, it's just because you've had a nice, beautiful night of lovemaking, right?
Yes, this is what I was.
And that means that our sexual energy is one of the main portals to get us plugged into the divine, just as meditation. It's as powerful, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, these are actually two practices, how I not just manifest, but recharge and create emptiness and just really remember who I am really. This emptiness, oneness, divine being. Yeah.
Let's transition this conversation somewhere that I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are on this, Arica. Because my favorite thing to know about life as a human, because we're all just different physical expressions of the same non-physical energy, and you out there may want to call it God, universe, love, all that is, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it. We're just different expressions of it. So you're looking at Arica and you're like, that's Arica. You're looking at Noel, you're saying that's Noel. But really, we're just expressing the same non-physical energy. And in the moment, like when we are connected, like we're talking about, like what's really fascinating about life is the momentum can take us up to frequencies where in English we have words to describe like really powerful frequencies like bliss, euphoria, nirvana, ecstasy. We don't really have words in English that describe frequencies more powerful than this. But the cool thing about us as human beings is we can actually reach frequencies that are beyond even the descriptions that we have to label them. And it's so much fun, like when you discover this. And for me, everybody has different things that they enjoy as a physical human. The actual human connection and the sexuality part of life, the fun sexual experiences that I have with other human beings that are also allowing their energy to go to these places with us, and we can just see how far we can go together. That there's no comparing that as far as physical life for me. I'm just curious, like when it comes to what you're experiencing and what you're teaching, when it comes to like frequency and being able to really enjoy your sexuality and helping other people do that. What is that? What's coming from you right now when I'm describing what I just described?
Could we have a 1 week long retreat and just speak about that? Well, it's a very, very rich topic and conversation. There are just so many components to that. There is the part of sexuality that takes us to God, to bliss, to oneness, to complete merging beyond my personality, beyond my partner's personality, and where we just become just masculine and feminine merging into one, and there's no form left, and you can bathe in this bliss for it feels like an infinity, like you completely lose the notion of time, right? And it's completely different from how we are used to perceiving sexuality, that they come together to release tension, to have a quick fix, some sort of penetrative moment, have peak fireworks, and then finish, go to bed, disconnection, loneliness again. So there's a very, very big gap between these two. And the point is that all of us are capable of moving from the quick fix to the deep, expansive states of consciousness. And the path for me is like a lifestyle. It's a deep, deep spiritual practice. It's not something that you reach or solve with some magic pill or a technique or just meeting the right person. It's so rich because it really transforms the core of who you are, because you have to look at the ways you're limiting your emotions, Where are you not allowing yourself to feel the difficult emotions? Where you're not fully expressing your vastness, your bigness, where you're not speaking up, where you think you're not worthy, where you judge your body, right? Where maybe your body is numb. Most of our sexual organs are completely numb. That's why we rely on really intense stimulation. For women, vibrators. For men, just one safe movement the whole life, right? And we just don't really feel anything at all because we're so numb. And we're numb because we are deeply traumatized. And by trauma, I don't mean it could be horrible sexual abuse, but for most people, it's just like micro traumas where we said yes when we meant no, where we allowed our boundaries to be crossed, where for women, for example, we had penetrative sex that was too fast, too rough, where maybe the partner did things that worked for another partner but not for us. And so the body feels deeply, deeply unsafe because so the body basically has to protect itself from feeling pain. And at the end, we are also numb and we don't also feel pleasure. So for me, when I go to the cities, I just see a lot of people who are just like absorbed with just trauma and stiffness because it has become so unsafe to feel. So the first key step to step into like deeper sexual authentic expression is actually meeting all of that baggage. Because by allowing us to feel the difficult, painful emotions, we also open up to like the deep pleasurable sensations. And for me, the path of sexuality is having all of these experiences as a source of expansion of consciousness. Yeah.
I love it. I love the route that you just went and that which you just described, because you really brought back what we started talking about as far as people even using, their sexual experiences as a way to, it's external, trying to have a sexual experience in order to feel good on the inside, and then all of a sudden it happens, whatever pleasure that you experience is what you experience, and then to bed, and now you're feeling empty again because it was all external. Which every external thing, if we're using that as a reason to feel good, nothing wrong with it, but it's fleeting. It's just when it's done, like when it's over, when you've gotten used to it. Like if you think I'll be happy when I get this car, you get the car, you drive it for a day or two, now you're unhappy again. So it's just
addicted to this dopamine release.
Yeah. So important. And here's like my biggest excitement and encouragement to share with everyone, because what you just described as you went on to illustrate what you just illustrated is it's the work that all of us can choose to do. And I call it work, but it's just remembering who we truly are. It's removing the blocks and the limiting beliefs, like you mentioned, the things that we're putting in the way, the blocks, to where if we can get them out of the way, then we can be who we truly are. And it's a practice, but here's the cool thing. If we can get used to, one, caring about our present moment frequency, because to me that's life simplified. Like, since it's the only thing that we truly have, and it's the only thing that we truly control, because the external is going to reflect from that, but it's going to do it synchronistically in ways that we can't predict. So if I can control what's my frequency right now, am I in a good mood? Am I in a bad mood? Am I blaming someone else? Am I taking responsibility? Am I at peace? Am I calm? And then allow momentum to carry us up. If we get in the habit of this and practice this, here's what happens. And here's the great news for everyone. If you start living life continuously like this and just practicing it, and this matters to you, you'll get better and better at starting your frequency in a great place to start the day, through just being grateful for anything. Have a food to eat, have a roof over my head. So you can start your frequency there. If you take it a step further and get into a meditative practice, which there's so many different ways to meditate, there's no right or wrong way, then that's going to allow your frequency to go up. If you just start being mindful of this, then what's going to happen is momentum will start carrying you during the day, and you get used to living life in these frequencies where I can go outside and just be appreciating nature, and my frequency can go like way up. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I'm not doing anything special, but I went outside and already a good mood, and I just allowed the external to increase the frequency. That's the difference. Like, a lot of times we try to use the external to increase the frequency. You can do that, but that's not stable. It's not. So here's the good news when it comes to like sexually. If we allow ourselves to get in the habit of doing this, then as you are enjoying these sexual experiences, if you bring that to your partner or partners or however you're interacting out there, and allow the experience to just raise your vibration, but you were already vibing high, you can start touching frequencies. Then again, like I like to say, Erica, like when I'm with a partner, like, and we've had an awesome experience, like, do you think any of the 7.7 billion humans on Earth are having as much fun as us right now? Like, I'm so curious about that question, because if so, it might be like a tie, and then I say I'm super happy for anyone that is, because it just can't be that high of a percentage, like in those moments which trips me out, because I'm like, there's 7 billion humans on the planet. How many are allowing their frequency to go here right now? And I want that for everybody, because it can go to places where, I mean, we can go. I'm going to let you speak on whatever you're inspired to speak. I have more to say, but I'm going to let you speak on whatever's inspired of you.
I mean, we are 12 hours apart on the opposite sides of the globe, but we're like in it.
It's true.
That's the experience that we tap into, right, through personal practice, because it's just one unified field of very high levels of consciousness, right?
100%.
I love that we can just connect to this field through Zoom.
100%.
Yeah, no. I would just like to comment here what you're mentioning is that the personal practice, be it sexuality, meditation, or anything, or going to the nature, is intentional. For me, this has become like one of the key words this year, is that life is not meant to be just an array of random things that are happening to us. So yes, through manifestation, we get our life aligned to our truth, but also just like a simple daily basis, as we make our happiness intentional, just so many little ways how we can show up for ourselves. So I'm noticing maybe there's some contraction happening in my chest. Can I become intentional about creating an expansion? So maybe I need to move, maybe I need to stop, switch off the screen. I'm waking up, okay, I had a bad dream. How can I still stay intentional to my truth? So maybe I'm just gonna sit with the dream and allow it to dissolve slowly. So, and sexuality as well. Sexuality is not meant to be just random things that kind of happens by itself. It could at a later stage, but at the beginning, once you start getting conscious about sexuality, we need to have like a regular space and time throughout the week where we drop in and see what's there. So, yeah, intentionality is gold.
It's so important what Arka is highlighting right now. I mean, it for me, another word for intentionality or words is it matters to you. Like, you care about what your vibration is. And like, if I could get one thing to humanity, it's care about this, because here's what happens. Like, if you're vibrating in a place where you don't have to be at bliss, like I'm not requiring myself to be at bliss. However, I notice if I'm not at least at peace and calm, because if I'm not, then that means I'm typically focusing on something. Either it's not as common for me to focus on things from the past that bring it into my right now. That's something that commonly we do as human beings. The biggest challenge for me was a decade ago was thinking about how am I going to do this, this, and this in the future, like future. I'll be happy when itis, which is a great recipe for right now, like being anxious and worried and depressed. And so I think because it was such a weakness for me, and it stemmed from thinking I was going to play professional sports, and then that didn't happen. So I was like, well, how do I now have the success I thought I was going to have? So let me go to LA and act and, do all these things that, external. So it caused a lot of like stress and like just rough parts of life. It was just a roller coaster. There were good parts, and there was a lot of parts where it was just like, this sucks. I'm not excited about anything. So my point is, right now, this matters to me. This is the only thing that matters to me, because I know that all the awesome synchronicities of life are just reflecting from the vibration that we're in right now. And when you practice this out there, and you just allow yourself to get better and better, I'm no better or worse than anyone. Arika's no better or worse than anyone. We're no special breed of human where only they can connect with energy and allow their energy to flow and to have momentum kick in. It's possible for every single one of us. It's just the awareness. And then the caring about it, being intentional about it, to allow it to become a part of your daily practice. That's what's going to allow you to have a really fun life and tons of fun life experiences, whether it be sexual or others.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
I just have one more idea that I just get a lot.
I don't even like asking questions. I just like to just flow with you. So you say anything you want.
Amazing.
I always have backup questions.
So, after you can ask me after this one. I think you're going to like this one. It's basically when you speak about this happy awareness, right? Like these are like, let's say, the things that are serving you and the things that are not serving you. So throughout the day, of course, it takes practice and mindfulness to start noticing them and choosing the thoughts, right? And when we are in a sexual practice, we're already like in a very, very open field. Like usually the mind constructs and everything, they kind of fall down, right? And we are so much in this field where we can manifest. So we can actually use the sexual energy to manifest consciously or unconsciously, because we're already in this open field. And if we allow ourselves to succumb into the limiting beliefs, saying, oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, he doesn't love me, maybe he's thinking of porn as he's making love to me, and like all of the things that women think all the time, we're just manifesting that. So this is unconscious manifestation through sex. So I would just really like to bring this point, because I think most people when they make love, unconsciously they're manifesting still. And hence, the importance of practicing awareness when we are not making love is like our homework.
I'm so happy you brought this up for multiple reasons, but I'm so happy you brought this up because not only are you manifesting things that, you're just manifesting things that you don't want because you're focusing on it, which this is in all times of life. If you're focusing on whatever it is that you don't want, you're just putting attention on that. Wherever we put our attention is where we put our energy, and we put energy on anything long enough, we're just going to see physical manifestation. Exactly. But because it's heightened energy, when it comes to sexual experiences, it's like a heightened, like, this could be so powerful if we use this to our advantage. Like if you allow yourself to be present. Here's also what happens when we're thinking about, am I doing a good job? Or are they thinking about something else? Or do I look up? When we're thinking those thoughts, or should I even be doing this? Or any of that, momentum just went from wherever it was going to now it's like going this way. Because your momentum is on worry. And like that's just not a fun place to be. And so the sexual experience is not going to be anywhere what it could be. And I'll share with you what it can be, like what the potential is. And the potential is unlimited. But my point is, if we allow ourselves to let the momentum carry us to where we're not, for me, the rest of the planet doesn't exist, not even just during a sexual experience. During a sexual experience, like I don't exist to any of you guys on the planet except for the person that I'm spending time with. But that's even if I'm having a conversation with someone. Like I'm like totally here with you right now. And this is like the second best like version of like human connection as far as speaking. Like computer online. Obviously, I'd rather be there in Bali with the birds chirping where you are, because that seems like an awesome place. But at the same time, I appreciate that we have technology that we can connect from thousands of miles away. My point is, if we allow the momentum to carry us, like during a sexual experience, you can put in your mind things that you're excited to see manifest, and it's like a rocket ship. Like if you do that right before you like orgasm, say your momentum is going up, and like you're getting ready to orgasm, and like you put an intention, a powerful intention as far as anything that you want to be doing, have in your mind, like it explodes out into the universe like a rocket ship.
Totally.
And it brings it so magnetically to you. I mean, it's so powerful to be able to use that. And then I'm so happy you brought that up, because I don't think it's brought up a lot at all what the powerful rockets you're sending out in the direction that you don't want to go if you're doing that to yourself as well. So that's really good.
Yeah. And that works both ways. You can work with this as a person, also through your personal self-pleasure practice. And here, just going back to one idea, if you're using sexual energy to manifest, the subconscious usually works with symbols. And if you're about to go to an orgasm, you can actually say, oh, like next year, I would love to make $20,000 a month. I have this kind of house, this kind of boyfriend. It doesn't work like this. So in my personal practice, I usually have a symbol. And I work on the symbol for quite a long time. And each symbol for me represents usually maybe 5 things I'm working on and 5 feelings that help me to really connect to this experience. And so when I go to meditation or to orgasmic practice, then I just simply visualize the symbol so that my subconscious is just very used to the symbol and it knows what it means to me. Yeah. And then if you work with your partner, then there's this beautiful practice of sex magic where you both create a common intention before you go to into lovemaking, and then you dedicate this whole experience, this whole cultivation of divine love towards something. It could be your practice with the divine, something you're trying to attract in life, and so on. So it can work both ways, alone or in partnership.
Absolutely. I like what you just gave as far as advice, as far as the symbol. That's good advice. What Arka is describing there is when she's getting that symbol like in place, she's getting the frequency of it, because it's all about getting the frequency. It's not about thinking about the like you mentioned in your example, like I want to make $20,000 next year, do this, and this. Like that is not, as far as manifesting goes, during when we're having sexual experiences or any time, we have to get the frequency of like being that. Like what's the frequency? Yeah. How will we live with the 20,000? Like what? Like if you can get that and get the frequency. So what I feel like you were just saying is like you get the frequency, and then represented into the symbol so that when you think about the symbol, you can go back to the frequency. That's what I feel like you were just saying.
Exactly. It's just because I recharge my symbol constantly. I have my symbol like all over my house, like on my laptop or different places, on my phone, on my wallet. When I meditate, I read the things that my symbol means to me. I really tap into the feeling. So when I see my symbol, it's just like recharged. It's not just a letter. It means the whole world to me.
I love it. Hold on one sec, Erica. I just got an alert that says my battery on my computer, which I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in. And I'm going to turn off my air conditioner. Hold on, live people.
Okay.
You guys have questions, you guys can join us on the link on Zoom. You guys can ask any questions. I'm not looking at Facebook, so maybe I will, maybe I won't. But you guys can join us if you want to. You're awesome, Erica. This is fun.
I love it.
Okay. Let me turn my air off.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that you guys never will hear in the Spotify and iTunes version of this because you guys aren't live. so much fun. So I've been having a lot of fun lately talking to sexuality coaches and sex coaches. And just my favorite part of life because of where the frequency can go, which is where can it go? Unlimited. So, you know, what I've discovered just as a guy, because I always used to envy you ladies for one specific reason. During sexual experiences, I was like, ladies, you guys can have orgasms and just continue on. And it's like, you don't have to stop. You could just, and for me, what I thought, which I've become fully aware that this was not true, but what I thought and what I think most guys think is when we have an orgasm, like the sexual experience stops for us, at least for a period of time. The refractory period, so that, you know, if there is a round two, then it just can't happen right this second. Like it has to pause. But you ladies could just go like indefinitely, just as much as you want. I'm like, you guys are having way more fun than we are. So good news for guys out there. When you discover and your frequency matters to you, and you start allowing it to do what, you know, Erica and I have been talking about in this episode, we actually can have full body energetic orgasms just like the ladies can, and it's not necessary to ejaculate as the guy. Like we can have as many as we want, which is probably my favorite thing to have discovered about just my body and just frequency. And it actually just started happening because I started practicing living life just day to day, allowing the momentum to rise. And then all of a sudden, you know, going into sexual experience, I was already in such a good mood even before the sexual experience. Maybe I didn't even know I was going to have the sexual experience that day, which I've been single for 4 years, you know, by choice. And synchronistically, sometimes they're just sexual experiences that I'm not like planning on when I wake up in the morning. But then all of a sudden, the universe decides that I'm a match to that, and it's all good. But my point is, like, when we allow our frequency to raise like this, my gosh, like, guys, we can experience like multiple like orgasms as well, where it's like your whole body is shaking. And this is something I want every guy to know that's possible, because then you could just have that as like a, oh, I didn't know, because I didn't know that this was possible at one point.
Yeah, it's still a niche knowledge. It should not be.
For sure. They don't teach this in school.
I think they need to show more in energy orgasms. Then it's going to become mainstream.
For sure. I'll talk about it on all these episodes as much as possible. I have so much fun talking to you sexuality teachers. If I was to go niche ever, this would be the area that I would go niche in.
I see there's more and more sexuality teachers and coaches and tantra educators and so on. It's really, really blossoming and sprouting. It's amazing, because the world is such a sexual suppressed place still.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Like we're just blocking our own energy and frequency when we're asking ourselves, is this like, should I be doing this? Or that question. You will never hear me say on any podcast episode, you can't find it, that you should or shouldn't do anything. That's just not for me. I'm just pro choose whatever it is. Get really clear and honest on what's important to you out there, whether it's wanting to be in a relationship, not wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to do whatever. And when you're clear on that, then you can actually share that honestly from a place of integrity with anybody that comes in your path. And great news for all of us, there's 7.7 billion humans on the planet. So whatever it is that you've gotten clear on that you're embodying as far as your frequency, your energy that matters to you, you just attract people that are wanting to play with you in that frequency. And this is another thing that I want, especially guys, to know out there, because I just see even with like celebrities where, you know, they don't have a hard time like having sexual experiences, but still lying. Like, I know you're not monogamous. Like I've seen, like, it's just, you didn't all of a sudden change and now there's a cheating scandal. It's just, Is it really necessary? Like, just be honest with each other. And maybe she might say, I don't want to go there with you because I want a monogamous relationship. I want to get married. I want to have kids. You don't. So you just can't interact in that way right now. And it's all good. But there's just such a lack mentality sometimes with people just trying to say whatever they need to say to get the person to be what they want them to be versus just being okay with how you choose to be, being able to share that openly, and then attracting from there. It'd suck if we had like 5 other people on the planet, Arca. We had to be like, hopefully I can get one of these 5, because if not, like, it's going to be so that would be rough. But there's an abundance of humans on this earth, so be honest with each other.
And it's true. Like, I hear a lot of women, for example, saying, where are all the good men? Where are all the conscious men? And they say, yeah, but all my girlfriends are saying the same thing. It's a fact. There's no good men out there. But if you're just bathing in this frequency of like mentality, and you're probably surrounding with other people who give you evidence that this is true because they're also in lack, this is what you get more of. Just like this. Yeah, and I love that you're mentioning the word attraction, and especially romantic attractions, because all the people we attract is just like a hall of mirrors. Okay, this person's in my life because I probably need to look at my, wound of fear of abandonment. Or there's this person in my life because I'm probably become like a very empowered woman and I'm ready to, commit to a very conscious monogamous relationship. And this person means that. It's like so much information around us just by looking at the people we're attracted to.
100%. So important. For what you just said right there is another reason why I'm so pro life experience, because for all of us on the planet right now, as of this moment right now, we're more clear about what we like, what we don't like, what we want, what we don't want than we've ever been in our lives. Why? Because of all the life experience leading up to this moment. Great news for all of us. If you still might be a little cloudy out there as far as what you want, just experience more life, because tomorrow you'll be more clear. Next month you'll be more clear. Next year you'll be more clear. Those days aren't promised to us. It's just promised right now. But when we get there, you'll be more clear because you're going to live more life. So even if the next person you go out on a date with isn't like your end-all, be-all, everything that you want in a human, you can still appreciate the life experience because they probably will have some things where they're either reminders of, ooh, I know I definitely don't want to experience that. Yeah. So I'm really excited to attract this. Or, ooh, I didn't even know I like this. Now I'm really excited to have that as well as far as what I'm attracting. And then just you can go from life experience to the next and just be appreciative of it. And then all of a sudden you look up and whatever it is that you want out there, no matter what it is, you'll be spending time with someone you're like, damn, this is a human that I want to spend more time with. I want to spend more time with. And then 40 years later, you're still hanging out with him if that's what you want. It's just, to me, that's what a relationship is if somebody keeps choosing to spend time with another person, then I guess you're in a relationship. But I mean, obviously being honest with what it is that you want and all of these things. I'm the most honest human on the planet when it comes to male-female interaction and just human connection, because I just don't look at there being a lack of humans on the earth. It's just like, I've had plenty of people my last relationship, Erica, was ended January 2016. And I've had plenty of humans that were like, well, I've been super open with saying I wasn't looking for a monogamous relationship. And they were like, well, I am right now. And even though we're both attracted to each other, I feel like this would probably not be good for me to go down here to this route with you, Noah. So we could just stay friends, and like I could share some things with them that could actually even help them attract what they're looking for, which I've done that plenty of times. And just the times that I've been single, I enjoy doing that too. So it's all good, guys. Like, just be honest with yourself, first of all, and then you could be honest with others.
Yeah, and find ways to resource yourself from the inside to really fill up your own cup first, because then you attract other people with their full cups already. And that's very enjoyable.
I love it. Well, one more question for you, unless you inspire me to ask you more, because I can talk to you for hours and hours. I think we've established that. Everything you say is inspiring me to say lots of things.
You can do level 2 if you want.
I always affirm, which I'll affirm with you right now, that this is our first co-creation, not our last. Like, there's some things already that I'm like, it'd be fun to do like workshops with you and just different stuff. And you're actually in the place where I feel Bali is going to be. I'm already putting this out there energetically. I'm just making it this way. That the epicenter of what I'm creating as far as my universal abundance community, like Bali is like the epicenter for many reasons, and Hawaii and some other beautiful places on the planet as well. But question that I have for you that I'm always curious, knowing that the internet will live for quite some time longer than it has so far. I think it'll be around at least during our lifetimes. I don't think it's going anywhere. So anything you really want to share, it could be anything, any topic. Anytime someone
Mm.
hears this, whether it's right when it's released in a few weeks on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere else, or 100 years from now, if some human is like, who are these two humans that are having so much fun talking to each other? And she has birds chirping in the background, and let me go check out this Bali place. Anything that you want to share with any of these people that
Mm.
are attracted to this episode.
Let me tune in. Mm. I just keep hearing the same words. I was thinking maybe I'll come up with something else, but that's the thing. It's the importance of self-pleasure as a spiritual practice. This is the place where we really come back home, get in touch with our desires, needs, perhaps fears as well. This is where we can recharge our self-love cup daily, or at least on a regular basis. And then you're already working like just like love emanating alive beings, and this like this afterglow that you get after lovemaking, right? It does not have to be dependent on another human being, which is amazing, but you should not just empower yourself by waiting for someone else to give it to you. It's your own responsibility to love yourself and show up for yourself on a daily basis. And self-pleasure is perhaps one of the most important practices. But self-pleasure in a way where you come through a meditation with a powerful intention, where you breathe, where you move energy, where your body is like just like a plant dancing, in the forest. And then through this space, you just go and fully honor yourself. And then you also close with a meditation and gratitude. And for me, this practice has been one of the most life-changing. And I really wish to inspire people to use this free source of energy and self-love.
I love it. And I love how you tuned in to answer that. I love when I ask that question to the guests, and I do it on purpose at the very end because you guys all do the same thing. Like you just like, a lot of you close your eyes, you like put your hand on your chest, and like you just tune into whatever needs to flow out, and it's always so beautiful. So rewind and listen to what Erica just said again when this episode comes out. It'll be super. It'll be fun to tune in. If you can tune into her frequency, which all of us can, and if you're just aware of that, like regardless of the words that came out, the few frequency that she shared it with were awesome. Side note, you can connect with like humans. That's why I love connecting with people in their passion, because I can feel the frequency that they're sharing, whatever that is. Like even if I'm on Spotify and I'm listening to somebody's music, like if they did it from a place of just passion and love, like when people ask me what kind of music I like, I just like, well, frequency. I just have a playlist called High Vibe and a playlist called Euphoria. Like it's frequency. So, and also side note on what you just shared when it comes to self-pleasure or just pleasure in general. I highly encourage everybody out there to ask yourself questions like, how amazing can I feel right now? Like, where can my frequency go? The answer to that is unlimited, by the way. So it could always, none of us have had our best, our highest frequency orgasm. We haven't had it. And regardless of the orgasm or not, like you have frequencies that you haven't touched yet. All of us have, because they're infinite. And that makes it so much fun when we can allow the momentum to start carrying us to some of these. Because once we've touched it once, then we know it's there. And once we know it's there, we can get back to it easier and easier. And once you can get back to these frequencies super easy, you can just get there and then allow yourself to go even beyond that. It's really fun. You can tell how much I enjoy talking about it. So this is an awesome conversation, Erica. You're an awesome human being. I'm happy that I know that you exist now. You guys definitely follow Erica on social media. You guys will see all her links here. Anything you want to promote to the audience that you want to share with them that they can connect with you on, or that you're excited about that you're doing?
Well, I love taking women on deep one-on-one journeys. So if you're a woman who's actually ready to take your, not just the pleasure, but also like the depth of your life to the next level and really uncover your unique feminine power and awaken your sexuality intentionally, reach out to me. And also if you're a man and women who are like just not finding this like missing puzzle piece in their life, just looking for like that next thing, it may be sexuality, so send them to me. And also, if we don't have to go on long journeys together, but also I'm very happy to create content daily that speaks to the needs of people that I hang out with. So you can also ask me questions and say, hey, I'm going through this question, through this experience, and could you just make a video on the topic? That would be my pleasure. So I would also love just to chat with you online.
I love it. Definitely follow that inspiration to connect with Arika, because what I know about life is whenever we have these energetic nudges, even curiosities, where it's like, that's interesting. Like if she just said that and you're like, that sounds interesting. Just take the first step on that. Maybe it's just following her on social media, screenshotting her page. Like I want to like go stalk her a little bit, see what video she's posting, and then maybe then it's an inspiration to reach out. Whatever it is, it's just such a good next step on our journeys, because there's some life experience there that your soul is like, those energetic nudges is like your soul saying, go explore that, because there's something there that can propel you further on your path, and maybe you keep going that direction, or maybe it propels you in another direction. Regardless, it's like the clarity from life experience is what I love the most. And I've never said this before, Erica, but I'm gonna say it just because I'm having so much fun talking about this right now. For the guys out there, especially since you're like specifically ladies, I will help anybody that reaches out to me to learn how to start accessing these frequencies, because this is probably my favorite thing to know about life, and like it's an ongoing thing. So that's probably my favorite thing to know. So for the guys out there that need that want to know how to be able to do the things that we talked about in this episode, reach out. I'll help you guys.
We need so many more men teaching men about how to access these orgasmic states. It's so important. Thank you so much for sharing your mission.
Yeah.
It really touches me as a woman personally.
You ladies have been telling me that more. Like I've talked with, I think, seriously, I've had like, I think I've talked to like 5 or 6 different sexuality coaches in the last maybe week and a half, 2 weeks on this podcast. None of the episodes are out yet, but I've done them all live. So if you guys like want to see these live, you can scroll down timelines and all these things. But yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, and that seems to be something that is not existent out there. Like when you're telling me, like I'm gonna do I might do like be part speaker on a course that 2 awesome sexuality coaches are gonna be doing, and just from the male perspective. So I'm always happy to share about this. I could talk about this subject all day, every day, because it's the part of life that allows me to feel the highest frequency. So in essence, I love it the most. Yeah. Well, such a fun conversation. You're an awesome human, Erica. I'm happy to know you exist. The conversation I would have wanted to have with you anyway, and just happy we can record it and share it so that the audience can be impacted by it. And so much fun talking to you, and I'm looking forward to any potential co-creations that we have in whatever part of the world. You're an awesome human.
Definitely. Thank you. I'm actually thinking of launching my own podcast on female sexuality, where I will need some male perspective soon. So
do it. I'm a fun guest. Like I will say, I don't toot my horn very often, but as a guest, I'm really fun, because like as a host, I have to I want you to share as much energy as possible. So I chime in a lot. That's why I call it a conversation and not an interview, because I want to actually talk to you. But no, as a guest, anytime. I'm very easy to get on as a podcast guest. They're very fun for me.
Yeah, amazing.
Well, you guys definitely share this episode, and you guys will impact people with it for sure. We shared a lot of stuff on this, and I know it can impact anybody wherever they are in their journey. I'm super excited for all of you out there that experienced this episode, and thank you guys that have been rating and reviewing and subscribing to Enlightened Conversations. You're making it easier for people to find these beautiful episodes. And just learned recently there's no rule on iTunes specifically against leaving multiple reviews. So feel free to go on there right now and say that human Arika was awesome in Bali. And I'll screenshot it and send it to her. I'll tag her in all the social media. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. And just appreciate all you guys out there, sending you tons of love and light. Whenever you hear this, whether it's right now or 100 years from now, you're awesome. And you guys that are on here live, I appreciate you guys. I'm not looking at Facebook right now, but that link, you guys can start tuning in to these live. I'm doing them live a lot. So if you have any questions for Arika, put them in the Facebook comments. I'll make sure that she can see those. Please. And I appreciate you guys all. Sending you love and light till we connect again. Have a beautiful day. Awesome.
Have beautiful beings. Love yourselves.
So much fun. All right, I'm going to stop the stream and I'm going to say bye to you. Hold on one second.
Okay.